Welcome to the 2020 Adventure Challengers, Chicago Voyagers' celebration of our mission, youth, and the generous people who make it all possible. Thank you for sharing your time and support with us tonight. My name is Jory Fitzgerald, and I have the unique privilege of serving as Chicago Voyagers' Director of Strategic Development. Tonight, I also have the honor of hosting our event, the Adventure Challengers. Though our event isn't taking place on an obstacle course, it certainly has been filled with its fair share of obstacles, ones that we're overcoming with your help. As you'll hear in a moment from our director, the challenges we are all facing are magnified for the families of the youth we serve. Disparities in education, healthcare, and employment have widened the existing gap. Now more than ever, young people need to know that they are not alone, that we believe in them and recognize their potential, growth, and contributions. So tonight, we'll celebrate two exceptional youth, Zitlali Cervantes and George Martinez, winners of this year's Big Heart and Fighting Spirit Awards. We will also meet a group of inspiring people who've spent the last 2 months paddling, cycling, swimming, running, and sailing their way into earning your vote for the 2020 Adventure Challenger of the Year. If you haven't yet cast your votes for your favorite candidate or candidates, it's not too late. You can continue to vote throughout our program. Simply go to givegrove.com/adventure to cast your vote. Each $50 vote covers the cost of 1 day of therapeutic adventure programming for one youth. So as we say in Chicago, vote early and vote often. Throughout our program, we will be posting links to our event website in the chat box. Simply click on those links where you can easily vote, bid on some great auction items, and fund important needs in our programming. I invite you to share your comments and feedback with our youth awardees and adventure challengers using the chat box. Let's show them some love and cheer them on throughout the evening. They've been working hard. Let's pause now. Take a moment to pour yourself your favorite beverage, find a comfortable spot, kick up your feet, and get ready to enjoy an hour of optimism and hope. And who better to remind us of why we're here than our fearless leader and executive director, Bernie Roop. Let's take a moment now to listen.
Hello and welcome again. We have a great hour planned, and I hope you can stay with us until the end. My name is Bernie Roop, and I am the executive director of Chicago Voyagers. Just over 10 years ago, I adopted a teenage boy from DCFS. He had so many problems from his past trauma, and it was the struggle of a lifetime to try to help him heal. Although Josh took his own life at the age of 18, I learned a lot and came through the experience with a renewed commitment to help kids heal from trauma. I understand the urgency and the importance of the work. We are in challenging times, and I wish we could be together in person for this celebration. Many of us use the words, "we are all in this together." While true at one level, we aren't sharing this experience equally. The impact of the pandemic is not comparable, and the death gap of 16 years between those on the West Loop and those on the west side of Chicago is now even worse. I also see hope. If we listen and work together, we can become more unified and help those who need a hand up. We can bring healing and peace. Chicago Voyagers' mission is to empower at-risk youth through outdoor experiential adventures that foster healthy relationships and responsible behavior. Close to 90% of our youth are low-income and youth of color. We serve those most in need. We work with kids through adventure activities such as canoeing, camping, rock climbing, and wilderness expeditions. We have been working for social justice for youth of color for more than a decade. Our adventure therapy program model is relationship-based, trauma-informed, and utilizes restorative justice. Most importantly, thanks to all of you, our programs are free to our youth. Our impact is significant as youth in our programs increase their GPA by 0.7 of a point and show a 65% decrease in discipline problems at school. Michael is an example of a boy who came into our program with a lot of aggression and acting out. Michael had depression, multiple hospitalizations, and had lost 3 people close to him to violence, all at the age of 12. He shared how helpful being in nature was. He talked about our program being amazing and one of the best experiences of his life. He told us he was able to let go of his aggression and start healing. That is the work that we do. In these current times, kids like Michael need us now more than ever. Thanks so much to our sponsors, Jim Kesselholtz and Jennifer Staines, Indigo Consumers Credit Union, IMC, and everybody else. Thanks also to Patrick, Courtney, Lauren, and our entire event team for their tireless work putting this all together. Finally, a big thank you to our Adventure Challengers for your support of our youth. And much gratitude goes out to our events manager, Jory. We are in a moment in our nation in need of healing and peace. Pope Paul VI said, if you want peace, work for justice. Our kids and our programs are a worthwhile investment. They need all of us to believe in them, to help tip the scales of justice towards fairness and peace. Your investment in Chicago Voyagers youth truly transforms lives. Thank you for your time and support.
Thank you, Bernie, for sharing these powerful stories. Understanding the struggles that youth like Josh and Michael have faced are important reminders of why the funds we are raising tonight are critical to the futures of hundreds of youth we serve each year. And thank you for celebrating with us and helping us come closer to meeting our goal of raising $70,000. We're almost there. Throughout the night, we will post updates on our goal in the chat box, along with links you can click to help us get one step closer to the finish line. Now let's get to the fun part. Let's meet our first Adventure Challenger competitors, Team Neighborhood Boys and Girls Club and Team Smaroff and the South Loop community. Bess McGeorge was only our second full-time employee at Chicago Voyagers. She started with us 4 years ago and continues to work with us part-time since she joined the ranks of one of our longest-standing program partners, the Neighborhood Boys and Girls Club. And today, and for the last 6 weeks, every dollar that Bess has raised as an Adventure Challenger will go toward programming for the youth at Neighborhood Boys and Girls Club. So Bess, you know that individuals like you who have a background both in social work and in outdoor recreational programming are pretty rare. How was it that you found your way to this line of work?
Well, it was a spring break trip when I was 13 years old. I went on this camping trip and we did whitewater rafting, high ropes course, and camped out and did service work. And personally, I was going through stuff. My mom was just starting her recovery in alcoholism. I was trying to be a bad teen. And the leadership that it sparked in me was amazing. I was on fire by it. I felt I believed in myself in a different way than I have. And I wrote a contract to myself on the way home because someone said, you know, that's what adults can do that. You can grow up and do that. And I said, all right, when I grow up, I wanted to own a camp, but as time went by, it evolved into this. I think this is the best kind of mesh of youth leader programming and outdoor adventure stuff that one can possibly get. And so it started on that trip. I wrote a contract to myself that I was going to help kids identify their leadership skills and qualities to be flourishing adults when they grow up.
What an incredible story, Bess. I had no idea that at the ripe old age of 13, you knew what you wanted to be when you grew up. Not many of us have had quite that level of insight. So thanks so much for sharing that story.
Yeah, no problem.
And the very strong passion that you've had now for decades for this work. And it's that passion, I know, that can create real change in people's lives, our own and the youth that we serve. And when I look back on my own career and I think of those moments that I'm most proud of that I really take with me wherever I go, it's those moments where you see a shift in a young person. You see a shift in their belief. You see a shift in what they know they're capable of. And I like to call those aha moments. And I'm sure that you've had hundreds of those throughout your career. Can you think of one particular aha moment that really stands out to you?
One in particular that stands out to me was a end of the year. So we partnered with Addison Trail High School. It was their end of the year trip. And it was a small little group, but this group had struggles throughout the whole year. I remember one of the kids on the trip, like just the first day of programming, he wouldn't even, like, he'd kind of like look at us to let us know that he might engage. And all of them on the trip had struggled, but also continually benefited the whole year. So we're on the Mississippi River. It's getting later. We've already paddled 7-8 miles. And at this point, we're going upriver back to our campsite in a slough. And the slough is blocked by 100 yards of tree debris. Like, couldn't get through it. One of the kids isn't feeling well, literally vomiting pink ice cream, throw up everywhere. I know that's so gross. But it was a treat. It was a day treat. They'd done so well on the trip so far. So we were banding together for this kid being sick, paddling different than we ever had, letting him rest. And then we hit this big log blockage, and going back and back up the Mississippi was going to be a problem. And I was like, we might have to portage. And these kids were like, let's do it. And to me, even being so much out in the wilderness, it was tough. I mean, we literally were in weeds in the Mississippi, on the banks of the Mississippi River up to here, mosquitoes on my arms like I'd never had before. We were portaging canoes and our gear and our water, and one of them was sick, and and just the way that those kids lit up to meet that challenge was just, it was stuff that just aha, they, at the beginning of that school year, they wouldn't have believed themselves to do that. And they did it. And it was amazing. We still, whenever we all see each other, it's like, man, that was crazy. We did that. We beat that Mississippi, the mighty Mississippi River, and made it back to our campsite. And just seeing those kids believe in themselves so much was one of my more favorite aha moments yet. And to continue programming with them the next year was even better. Just to see their growth continue to, like, just for them to know that they can do it was amazing for me.
What an incredible story, Bess. I actually had goosebumps at one point as you were telling it, when that moment where they all kind of rallied and realized, and I'm sure that you could see it in their eyes, that they had that belief, a sense of belief that they certainly didn't have when you started that program with them a year prior, a belief that they probably didn't have earlier in that day. And it's those moments, right? Those moments when young people, when all of us, when we realize that we're made of stronger stuff than we realize, and that we can go that extra mile and overcome those obstacles. And I want to thank you for inspiring them, for helping them to see in themselves what they're truly capable of, because that's not a moment that they had on that trip. That's a moment that they'll carry with them throughout their entire lives. So thank you. Thanks for sharing the story, and thanks for making those moments possible for our youth.
No problem. Thank you. Have a good one, everyone.
Absolutely. All right. Well, without further ado, let's check out Bess's Adventure Challenge video.
Good girl. All right. The outdoors saved me as a teenager, helped me learn ways to de-stress, cope, manage everyday life, and I've been on this journey to help youth get into the outdoors since I was 13 years old. We're in the river! Having a great time on the Tippy Canoe. We've already done a few miles. We're moving today. I'm doing mindfulness moments when I'm out there for myself to de-stress. And then I'm thinking about how much these kids need to be in the outdoors and ways to engage them a lot as we are facing this pandemic. Ducks in a row. They're really geese, but you get it. I love camping as a tool for youth to develop leadership skills and belief in themselves. And camping's such a great tool to help them believe in themselves, increase their self-efficacy, and feel like they can be successful when they return home. So if you've been camping with me, or been kayaking or canoeing with me, or rock climbing or biking, please donate $50. We know how vital being out in the outdoors, especially with your peers or friends, is.
This next Adventure Challenger team gives a whole new meaning to the phrase, the family that plays together stays together. Meet Team Smaroff. Duke is the chair of Chicago Voyagers, and he and his wife, Carrie, and their 3 children, Zach, Kate, and Ben, have been loyal Chicago Voyagers champions for years. In fact, if my memory serves me correctly, I believe all 5 of you have competed in the live Adventure Challenge obstacle course race. Isn't that right?
Yes, we did. Yeah, that was great.
Did you enjoy it?
You guys like it?
It was great.
Yeah, I like it too. And I'm really hoping by this time next year, we'll all be doing that instead of this, but we'll enjoy this while we can, right?
Correct.
Cool. All right. So Duke and Carrie, let's start with you. When I talked to you originally about the idea of the Adventure Challenger competition, the virtual competition, you had a slightly different vision for how this could work. Can you explain that vision and share how it's played out over the past couple of months?
Yeah, I think it was, we were up for a challenge as a family. We always like doing those sorts of things. But, it was interesting. Like a lot of our kids and a lot of their friends were biking around the South Loop here, having a great time. And we're like, what if we could kind of combine they're having fun biking around the South Loop with the challenge. And we thought, could we ask our friends and neighbors in the South Loop community to really be part of this? And I think we have, how many families, honey?
We've had over 20 groups and families biking, walking, running, scooting, and even kayaking to support the Voyagers.
Wow, that is really incredible and quite inspiring that you were able to find 20 families that were willing to join you in this great adventure. Thank you so much, and thank you to all the families in South Loop that have participated. We really do appreciate it. Zach, you ready? Look alive, Zach. My next question's for you. So you're going to be in 8th grade this year, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think I heard that you may have had a friend or two who also participated in the Team Smaroff South Loop elementary competition. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did you and your friends do to support the effort?
We just bike with the rest of the group.
Very nice. And where did you end up biking?
We'd go.
Where'd you go?
5 miles south, right?
Yeah. First, what more than that, like a number of times, right?
Okay.
Did you have fun?
So, and in fact, we just got back from biking.
Yeah.
Oh, today you were biking today.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. It was a great day for it. Well, thanks for that. Cool. All right. My next question is for you, Kate. At some point, maybe 2 weeks ago or so, I was checking out all the fantastic posts that your dad has been launching on his Facebook page about your adventure as a family and as a broader South Loop community. And there was a pretty cool post that was a video involving you in it. And I wanted to ask you a question about that video. So as I was watching the video, I learned that you have a special donation bank. Can you tell us about that bank? How did it get started, and how have you used the funds from that bank?
Yeah, so basically, like a year ago, I'm in Girl Scouts, and I got a bank, and I already had a bank, so I decided I don't want to throw it away, so I may as well, start some other type of bank, and I decided on a donation bank, which now I put, any coins I get and some of my money in it, and I just donate it to charities and organizations that, I want to support.
That's fantastic. I've never heard of a donation bank by someone as young as you. I'm really impressed, and I hope that there are other families that are watching today that are inspired by what you're doing and maybe consider having their kids or their kids decide to do it all of their own accord. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for your generosity, Kate.
Yeah.
All right. We haven't heard from you yet. So you and your sister are twins, right?
Yes.
Yes. And what grade will you be in this year?
We are going into 6th grade.
Into 6th grade. Okay. So it's been a weird year, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you could change anything about life during this pandemic, what would that be then?
I would choose to not have to wear a mask around my friends.
I am with you on that. I know. I'm actually, the one great thing about this event being virtual is that we don't have to wear masks because though I know it's the right thing to do, right? It's what we do to keep ourselves and the people that we care about safe. It can be real drag to be walking around. Like I always feel like when I go into stores that I'm a bandit. So I feel your pain, man. I really do. All right. Well, I wish that we had more time to delve more deeply into your adventure and life in the Samara family. But I think that there might be a video that we can queue up that will give us a bit more insight into your adventures. So let's queue that up. But before we do, I want to thank all of you again for being part of this challenge and giving it your all, and including so many other great families in your community in this adventure.
Sounds great. Thanks, Jory.
Thank you. All right, let's cue that video.
We have over 20 families working on this. But of course, with COVID this year, we cannot have the Adventure Challenge. So, so we had a virtual Adventure Challenge. Couple summers, it hasn't been as tight in the neighborhood as it is this year. Because they have lack of camps, they're all riding around and doing different things. And we just thought like this would be a great way for them to come together and do something exciting.
A nice way to spend time with your friends and help people at the same time.
Everybody started thinking about the song of, I could walk 500 miles. We maybe just added 1 0. It's just fun to set a goal, to go accomplish that goal. And, I think that, that's obviously what we want to teach the youth of Chicago Voyagers.
Way to go, Team Boys and Girls Club and Team Smart Off. Hey, Courtney, will you post a quick update in the chat box about the standing of our teams? Let's keep the votes coming in, and don't forget to share your comments and questions for our challengers and youth. You can also post questions about our auction and Fund a Need using the chat box. Get ready now for my favorite part of our program, our Youth Awards. We'll begin tonight meeting our Big Heart Youth Awardee, Zitlali Cervantes, and our very own Amos Pomp, who will be presenting the award.
Hi, y'all. I'm Amos Pomp, a program leader at Chicago Voyagers, and it is my honor to present the 2020 Big Heart Award to Zitlali Cervantes from the Beacon Place Group. The Big Heart Award is presented annually to a youth who demonstrates caring for their peers and is able to bring a group together. I was able to lead a winter cabin overnight with Zitlali and the Beacon Place Group in February, and I noticed her supporting the group through team building activities and by completing her camping chores. You'll hear her speak about this, but cooking outdoors was new for Zitlali when she went backpacking with Chicago Voyagers in October in Michigan last year. And it is my opinion that cooking is a way of showing that you have a big heart, and sharing food with people as youth do on our overnight programs and expeditions is a way of bringing the group together. So when somebody is able to show their love for the group and their big heart through cooking, I think that's really exceptional. And I noticed the skill in Zitlali. Seeing her engage in such an activity confirmed to me her qualification for this award. Zitlali, congratulations, and I hope you'll continue to have a positive effect on your peers with your big-hearted leadership.
Hi everybody, I'm here in Waukegan at Beacon Place, and I'm so excited to present the 2020 Big Heart Award for the Chicago Adventure Challengers event to Zitlali Cervantes.
Thank you so much to Chicago Voyagers for giving me this award, because everything I had done in the program so far was totally new to me and out of my comfort zone, but I've had fun during all of the adventures. I want to thank Chicago Voyagers for choosing me for this Big Heart Award. My name is Zitlali Cervantes and I am 15 years old. I go to Carmel Catholic High School in Mundelein and I am a sophomore. Right now, I live in an apartment house with my mom, my brother, and my sister in Waukegan. My uncle, my grandma, and my grandpa live upstairs. I enjoy having my family around because I'm never bored in the house and I always have someone to be with, even if it's just a dog. I also like going to school in a different community because I have the opportunity to meet new people from different environments from where I am from. I enjoy painting and I usually get my inspirations from Pinterest and give them my own twist. I'm not really into sports, but I enjoy being outside even if it's just with my little sister. I have been attending programs at Beacon Place since I was about 8 years old. This is my third year in Chicago Voyagers. I really enjoy being in this program because I am challenged to do things out of my comfort zone and things that I have really never done before. Due to the coronavirus, we could not have our end of the program party, which was kind of disappointing because I was really looking forward to it. Before Chicago Voyagers, have never ever thought about or had the opportunity to go camping, or go on hikes or anything like that. When I first heard about the things I would be doing in Chicago Voyagers and the activities, I was really nervous and I didn't want to do it because it was totally new to me. I had really never considered myself as an outdoor person. I always thought it would bug me a lot if I spent a lot of time outside. Growing up, I was a very shy person and I didn't like to talk to people or have new friends or even be around people. I really enjoyed being by myself more than anything because I didn't really like putting myself out there. Chicago Voyagers helped me be more confident in myself about leading things on my own and having fun outdoors. One of the most memorable things I have done during the time in Chicago Voyagers was backpacking in Michigan for a couple of days, which was totally new to me. I never expected myself to go with a lot of people I didn't know who were family to a whole nother state. We spent our whole time outdoors, which I had never done before. One of the favorite things I did during my time there was probably cook. When I went to Michigan, everything we did was outdoors and we had to use special cooking tools to heat up our food. I had never done that before or even thought about cooking outside. Leading this activity had me feeling good about myself because I always felt like food brought people together and it was a safe place to open up and start conversations. I learned that I could have fun outdoors even with people who I didn't know very well. I just had to be confident and be more open-minded and feel comfortable wherever I was. I hope this program continues because these experiences are something that everyone should be able to have no matter where you are or who you are.
What a beautiful young woman, both inside and out. We will all be keeping an eye out for Zitlali to see what the next few years hold for this remarkable leader and student. Congratulations, Zitlali. I'm excited to introduce you to our next two Adventure Challenger competitors, Team McCalla and Team Coin. And don't forget to check the chat box for updates and links to their voting pages, auction items, and other ways you can support our youth by funding a need. Meet Siddiqui McCalla. Siddiqui is a commercial banker, community organizer, and avid outdoorsman. He grew up in Waukegan, the son of small business owners originally from Jamaica. From the first time that we met, Siddiqui, I knew that you were a very special person. You have that unique combination of being both very gentle-hearted and tenacious, two characteristics that have proved to be quite successful for you as an adventure challenger. So what is it that motivates you, Siddiqui? Where does all your drive come from?
Hey, thanks, Jory. Hey, everyone. So when I think of motivation, for me, I think it's very complex and multifaceted. And what comes to mind for me is the people. I'm motivated by meeting new people and experiencing new people in different environments. And when I say environments, maybe when I travel to another country, get an opportunity to really understand their appreciation for the mountains. But also my motivation comes from my curiosity. So it's about, testing myself and knowing my limits and my capabilities. And I think that all comes together in my motivation.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that curiosity that you have, my guess would be that that's really been a strong motivator for you to travel the world and try a lot of experiences that many of us will never know in this lifetime. For you, when you think back on those adventures or those physical challenges, is there one in particular that stands out?
Yeah, so for me, I would say my first really adventure and challenge started in high school, when I had a coach that really saw potential in me to be a really great wrestler, and invited me to go out to the University of Minnesota to do a 28-day wrestling camp, the J. Robinson Wrestling Camp, with some of the toughest kids in the nation, and spent 28 days doing 4 workouts a day. And at the end, running 11 miles, which was a long for me, considering I was a cross-country runner and just limited to 5Ks. But it was a great experience, really meeting kids from all across the country and really testing my abilities with them. And I think that, that was where my first kind of journey started. And I would say it's just locally here.
Yeah, it sounds like there are a couple of key components to that experience for you. One is having that coach who was really a mentor for you, right? And then I think the other thing that stands out to me is the opportunity that you had to really kind of step out of your comfort zone and be pushed maybe past what you knew you were capable of. So as I think about, the passion that you have for our mission, and I think about the youth that we serve, and maybe the goals and the barriers that they have to their own success, what advice would you share with them if you could share just one piece of advice?
Yeah, so my piece of advice would be to be present. And anytime you're doing a physical challenge or a mental challenge, it's important to break that challenge down into smaller segments. And what I mean by that, one of my toughest experiences was a 100-mile trail run, and really had to break that down into 5-mile chunks. Let's just do let's do 5 more miles, and then celebrate and reevaluate and go after it again and do another 5. And if you feel ambitious, maybe you increase it to 10, but it's all about breaking that down into smaller pieces and try to be present and enjoy that part of it and celebrate, and then, keep on with the journey. And I think I do that for work, and I pace myself for work, and I pace myself definitely in like all the outdoor endurance stuff I like to do.
I think that's fantastic advice. And it certainly, I think, we work hard with our youth to try to reinforce the importance of being present, of mindfulness. But I like that advice of breaking goals down into smaller pieces, right? Because really, when we think about life, we think about our goals in life, or we think about life in general. It really is true, right? That life is about the journey, not so much the destination. And so if we can be present in each moment of that journey, what a richer experience that will be.
That's so true.
Yeah. Well, Siddiqui, I always love talking to you. You are a very inspiring person for so many reasons. But the two that I think of are what I mentioned in the beginning, is just this huge heart that you have, and the passion that you have for advocating for others, and this incredible kind of fighting spirit that you demonstrate and your own adventures in life. So thank you for sharing both of those with us. Thank you for allowing that to translate to your Adventure Challenge and raising a bunch of money for some really great kids and great programs. We appreciate all that you've done and continue to do for Chicago Voyagers.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and excited to be a part of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that in mind, why don't we check out the live footage of you in action? Here is Siddiqui McCullough's Adventure Challenge video.
So I committed to doing a 25-mile run across the city on Western Avenue from end to end. It's the whole, I guess you get the whole spectrum of Chicago. I'm going to be running through a lot of communities that Chicago Voyagers serve. There's a lot of life that's out here, a lot of plants and things to really appreciate. And I think over time they'll see the benefit as they get older. That's what Chicago Voyagers gives you, is giving these kids just a little bit of exposure, and maybe that'll create a bigger kind of movement within them as they become adults, and maybe they have a stronger connection to the outdoors and want to preserve it and want to spend time in it. Exposing yourself to different people, different neighborhoods, different communities will give you a better sense of
the broader Chicago community, and also helps you have a little bit more compassion.
It is my sincere pleasure to introduce to you Dan Coyne. Dan is a school social worker with the Evanston Public Schools and just might be one of the most optimistic people I have ever met. So tell us, Dan, what drew you to the field of social work?
Well, it really was my own child upbringing. My mom was really a social worker, although she was a licensed nurse, but she treated a lot of folks the same way. And also I had a troubled high school years where I dropped out for a while, and it was a social worker that actually helped piece me back together. And ever since then, I just felt like that was something that resonated with me.
Yeah, isn't it kind of powerful? The people who make a difference in our lives oftentimes are the very people who inspire us to our own life's path. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's clear that you have a very genuine heart for both our mission and the youth that we serve. But I really don't know what the story is for what connected you originally to Chicago Voyagers. Can you share with us that story?
Sure. It was a natural wilderness setting. My wife and I have volunteered one way or another with the Mennonite camp up in Ely, Minnesota, a few acres of land and buildings that help introduce the wilderness and canoeing to people. And that program started to fail. So we wanted to find an organization we could give the camp to that possibly for the next 30 years could do the same with their group. And that's how we found Chicago Voyagers. And fortunately, Chicago Voyagers accepted the camp. And now that's where I volunteer quite a bit in the summers.
Wilderness Wind, that's the connection.
Yeah.
And what an incredible connection that is that you've made for us. Thank you so much, Dan, for
Sure.
bringing this incredible asset and gift to Chicago Voyagers, to the youth that we serve, and to lots of our friends who love to spend time up there in the summer. I haven't yet made the trip, although I know you and I keep threatening to make a trip together sometime soon. So I don't know its natural beauty firsthand, but I am told that it's quite a spectacular place of nature. And for those like me who haven't had the opportunity to travel to Wilderness Wind, I think that there may be an opportunity for us to do so by bidding on an auction item this evening. In fact, Lauren, maybe you could throw up a link in the chat box to our Wilderness Wind retreat, where you can check out all the details about Wilderness Wind and the cabins and yurt that we have going on up there. You can check it out. Well, I got to tell you, Dan, when we sat down a couple months ago and I was scheming up this crazy idea of the Adventure Challenge, I had no idea to expect that you would come back to me with, not only will I do it, but here's what my challenge will be. My challenge, Jory, will be to observe on the water no less than 25 sunrises and sunsets over a 6-week period. And I thought, leave it to Dan Coyne to think out of the box and come up with a challenge that no one else in this world would ever devise. But tell us, what is your inspiration for your challenge?
Well, it is something I do anyway. I live in Evanston, which is right along Lake Michigan. And ever since moving here since '92, I've been able to take my Zodiac out about 4 miles and just listen to the sunset in the mornings. And that's been my psychiatrist, my therapist. But all along these last 20 some years, the same question percolates almost every morning. Here I am alone, very much enjoying this beauty and this experience, but alone. And 9.5 million people are back on shore in the Michigan area, or the Chicago area. And I just think of the kids that we work with that are afraid to even leave their home or their block because of violence and poverty. So all along, I've been trying to think of ways that we could include kids in this experience one way or another.
Wow, what a powerful reflection that is. And I think now more than ever during this pandemic, we are so aware of the importance of being immersed in nature and the healing effects, as you note, as your
That's right.
Psychiatrist and
Yep.
your therapist, like Michigan, how truly
Yep.
healing that can be. And I think that so many of us take that for granted when we can walk right outside our front doors and be part of it all. But I guess when we think about it, for the youth that we serve, it's not that simple, right? It's not just as easy as stepping outside their doors. And so thank you for using your Adventure Challenge to really highlight the importance of nature and to highlight the disparity that not all of us have such easy access to this great gift of nature. So thank you. Thanks for your adventure. It's been fun following you on Facebook and Instagram and seeing your adventure unfold. And now let's take a little time to for those of you who haven't been able to follow the adventure of Dan Coyne, let's take a look at his Adventure Challenge video. Thank you, Dan.
You bet. Thank you. Listen to the waves. Listen to the wind. You can listen to the sun. For the last 30 years, I've been boating out on Lake Michigan, about 4 miles east of Evanston. And usually I'm the only boater out there at 4:35 in the morning. Another day is dawn, Steve.
Did you say another day of dawn?
Yes.
Yes.
I think as human beings, it's our responsibility to find ways that we can contribute to this beauty. I think by using this kind of beauty for our kids is just a piece to get them on the right track so they can use and empower their own leadership skills to be our future leaders.
I think what Dan's doing is great. Everybody should see a beautiful sunrise or sunset every day. It's good for the soul. And he convinced me. I'm giving him $50.
It helped me to realize watching these sunsets that it's our job to seek those healthy communities and those healthy partners to start making our world better, to start healing, to start helping all of us to become anti-racist, to help all of us become positive contributors to our society. Every day is a new day.
How about Siddiqui McCullough and Dan Coyne? What inspiring individuals. Well, we're more than halfway through our program now. Don't forget to show your support by casting votes and sharing feedback with Dan and Siddiqui in our chat box. Our next youth award, the Fighting Spirit, is being presented by my colleague Marlene Reinert, who will share why the 2020 recipient, George Martinez, is a natural fit for the honor. Let's listen.
Hey everyone, Marlene here, and I'm so honored to award George Martinez from Addison Trail High School with the Chicago Voyagers 2020 Fighting Spirit Award. This past winter, the Addison Trail students and I went on a hike at Ryerson Woods, in which I offered George the opportunity to be our navigator and leader of the day. George was extremely hesitant at first and did not feel that he was the right person for the job. However, he chose to trust that I would support and guide him throughout the day, and in stepping out of his comfort zone, he accepted the role. On the first section of the hike, he and I chatted about the people in his life who he feels are leaders, and I asked him to identify the qualities and characteristics in those individuals and what he really likes about them when he's under their lead. George listed the traits of making others feel included, resourcefulness, kindness, competency, and flexibility, amongst some other things. He then identified the elements of being a leader that he wanted to work on that day during the rest of the hike. By the end of the hike, George knew how to work with the group to get a consensus on decisions and read a map well enough to be the solo navigator for 75% of the whole hike. As his skills developed, his ability to confidently make and trust his decisions did as well. The group gave George feedback on how he positively led them that day, and he left with a huge smile on his face. George truly does deserve the Fighting Spirit Award because against all of his instincts telling him that he wasn't fit to be a leader, he persevered and experienced that he truly could emulate that of a wonderful leader. I'm so proud of you, George, and I'm excited to hear what you have to share next. Thanks, everyone.
Hey everyone, we are here with George Martinez this morning, and we are so excited and proud to give him his Fighting Spirit Award. Congratulations, George.
Thank you, Marlene. It's been an honor to be in Chicago Voyagers for the last 4 years, ever since I was a freshman year. Thank you so much. I am Jorge Martinez Jr. and I am a senior at Central High School. This is currently my last year in high school. I have been participating in Chicago Voyagers for the last 4 years now. I am 17 years old and have 3 siblings. I like to play video games and soccer outside with my friends. I just want to say that I had an amazing experience with Chicago Voyagers and appreciate getting the 2020 Fighting Spirit Award. Chicago Voyagers means a lot to me. I was able to experience things that I would not experience if not for Voyagers, and I know that others do not get these experiences. COVID has greatly impacted my life. This being my last year, I was excited for a lot of things. All the things that I was looking forward to backfired. I was looking forward to the overnight trip in May, but all the Voyager trips and overnights were canceled. School is very different now, remote online classes now, and has also stopped me from getting a job because I was applying at places and I didn't want to put my family's health at risk. COVID isn't the only challenging thing I have faced in life. The passing of my grandmother was very difficult. She was someone I would always talk to when I was feeling down or stressed out or even mad. Also, attending school and keeping my grades up have always been a struggle for me. But having all the support from my family, teachers, and friends have always helped me get through it. Out of all these trips of Chicago Voyagers, my favorite one was at the Mississippi River, and it was during freshman year. It was my favorite trip because it was also wild, and it was my first time camping, and it made me love the outdoors. And we carried our canoes everywhere. I don't know how to swim, though. That's the bad thing. And the canoe flipped over, so it was even worse. But I was okay. Another favorite Voyagers trip was when we went cross-country skiing. I had a lot of fun learning to ski with my friends, and it was nice to be out, even in the winter. Through these trips, I learned a couple of lessons that have grown a lot from me. I learned useful skills that I can use further in life. I have overcame some of my fears like canoeing even though I can't swim. The biggest thing is that I put myself out there and stepped outside my comfort zone. As uncomfortable as I was, I realized that these experiences helped me grow. This helped me realize that I could be a leader in these programs and with my friends. For example, I am one of the most experienced students in our group. I am able to help others be successful in the program by showing courtesy and initiative. I feel that I was able to learn so much and experience things I normally wouldn't have experienced. I just want to say thank you to all of you who helped me in Chicago Voyagers. Thank you to those that decided that I would like to go on the trips. I know the students don't have the opportunity to go, but when I started high school, I didn't know what I was walking into. This experience made me better. It gave me fighting spirit. Without Chicago Voyagers, I probably wouldn't have experienced canoeing, hiking, or skiing until like my late 20s. But I know for a fact that the other youth would benefit from the experiences with Chicago Voyagers. You guys are providing something new to them and can help them grow. Thank you again.
Thank you, George, for stepping outside your comfort zone to take on new leadership roles within Chicago Voyagers and your broader community at Addison Trail High School. You've grown a lot, and we are proud of you. Please take a moment to share your thoughts with George using the chat box. And don't forget that we are in the final minutes to cast your votes and bid on our great auction items. Just click on the links in the chat box to check it out. We're in the home stretch now. It's time to meet our final competitors, the team with the home field advantage, Team Voyagers. The last team I have the pleasure of introducing is Chicago Voyagers' very own fabulous foursome, Marlene Reinert, Nancy DeWeese, Amos Pomp, and Ryan D'Angelo, otherwise known as Team Voyagers. Watching these four in action, you'd never know that they'd only been together since June. For the past 2 months, my incredible colleagues have been on the water, ambitiously training and tracking more miles than I thought was possible. Marlene, let's start with you. In the midst of the Adventure Challenge, you've also been completing another really important milestone, obtaining your license in social work. How does your social work experience inform your perspective in the field with our youth?
So having social work training and knowledge, it really allows me to have a gentle perspective when working with our youth. Our kids will show up on the programs and bring everything that they are and everything that has ever happened to them with them to each program. So as a social worker, through building that trusting relationship with the youth, I'm really able to be right alongside the youth with anything that they need in any moment. And it also allows me to understand what our youth are communicating non-verbally. So this allows for that trusting relationship to be formed. And through that relationship is how we see so much beautiful growth within our youth. And it is truly awesome.
I couldn't agree with you more. It is pretty awesome. And I think one of the things that many people who support our organization don't even know about Chicago Voyagers is that we are both trauma informed and therapeutic in our approach to our work, which really does set us apart from many of our counterparts in adventure programming for youth. And I think that because you all have this incredible training, the majority of our staff do have a background in social work or psychology, it brings a level of understanding about our youth's experiences, the backgrounds that they have, and that they're oftentimes traumatic experiences that could otherwise prevent them from really being able to engage fully in programming. So thank you. Thank you for your work and in completing your license. I know it's been a long and arduous process, but certainly one that will pay off, hopefully for you professionally, but I know for sure for the youth that we serve.
Thank you.
My next question is for Amos. As you got into the challenge, what did you learn about yourself through the experience that may have surprised you?
So in terms of the Adventure Challenger and our goal to complete 1,000 water miles, before last summer, I didn't even consider myself a water person. I thought hiking was my activity of choice. I wasn't a huge fan of like going to the beach or anything like that. Like I'd been canoeing, but this summer I learned a ton of new canoe skills. I learned how to sail and have really become much more comfortable on the water and really opened it up as like a realm that I'm willing to explore. We went on our staff training trip to the Boundary Waters and did a canoe expedition, and that was all new for me. And so just sort of like understanding that there's more ways to be outdoors, there's different waterways in the area to explore, and that's really exciting for me now and wasn't something I'd thought of before.
That's great. I'm sure stepping outside of your comfort zone is something that's useful in a couple of ways, right? First, you now have a greater breadth of program experience to offer our youth, but also I think it probably deepens your understanding of the lack of experience that our own youth have coming into programming. And I'm sure already an empathetic person that you are, this only builds that level of understanding that you have for our youth and will make you a more credible person when you're trying to get them to take actions in ways that they never have before in wilderness. So that's pretty cool. Thanks for sharing that experience. Ryan, you're up next.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. So Brian, I know you've been leading outdoor adventure programs for a few years, working with organizations like Outward Bound that gave you great experience learning to adapt to unanticipated situations that may have come up in real time. What have you learned by having to adapt to restrictions presented by COVID-19?
Yeah, the ability to be able to adapt and be flexible is definitely something that any like wilderness guide or program leader for Chicago Voyagers needs to have. I think something that's been important for this particular challenge is being able to be kind to myself and remind myself of that, because this is, in a lot of challenges that you have to adapt to on programs, you anticipate that happening and you adapt and you adjust, and then it's like, cool, we solved that issue. Or now let's move on to whatever else might come up. But this one just keeps going, and it has lasted a very long time, and it has been evolving, and so it's been definitely challenging for all. And I think that the added skill of just being patient with yourself and forgiving is good for all of us, and also to kind of role model to kids as well, because that's something that we want our youth to be able to do, is have kind intentions for themselves. So
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. As I think about what Amos shared about his kind of lack of experience or enthusiasm initially for being on the water, that then being able to kind of overcome those concerns and actually turn that into something that he now enjoys. Similarly, as you have shared, being able to be patient and to demonstrate kindness to oneself. These are such important lessons that we as adults need to really embrace in order to model them authentically for our youth. And I think that that's a message that resonates with all of us during this difficult time, is that we have to, in order to maintain our own sanity and happiness, we have to learn how to be patient and to demonstrate that kindness to ourselves and to those around us. So thanks for sharing those lessons learned.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
Nancy, I want to end with you. Though you're the newest member of Chicago Voyagers team, you're certainly not new to this line of work. I know you have a real passion for this work, but I also know from firsthand experience that our industry can have an extremely high burnout rate. What keeps you in the field of therapeutic outdoor adventure programming, and how do you keep your batteries recharged?
Nature. I like being out in nature, and on the water, it feels like everything just kind of falls away. I get away from the structure and the demands of a schedule and just have time just to breathe. I often will talk with other friends who are also in the business, professionals, and we share ideas. We get out and we might paddle together, go out and do some activity together, encouraging one another. So this is a field that we believe that being in nature is important. Not only for our youth, but also for ourselves, as it's able just to kind of help us breathe, right? That mindfulness piece.
So much wisdom there, and what a great gift it is for those of us in this line of work. That while the work itself can be draining, the work itself is rejuvenating, right? And though we may need to sometimes pull away from the group, pull away from the youth, in order to be immersed in nature in a way that does recharge our batteries, the work itself is very healing in nature. So much wisdom there. Thanks for sharing that. I'm really inspired every day by the commitment of my colleagues and their passion for the work. Please join me in thanking them and all of our Adventure Challengers by sharing a comment or two in the chat box. And for the last time tonight, let's turn our attention to our Adventure Challengers video. Thanks, team.
Nancy, say hello to the camera.
Woo!
With the sun right behind her. Quick, shine brighter than the sun. You can do it.
Our challenge is to rack up 1,000 water miles, so traveling by canoe, kayak, sail, or swim.
So 1,000 plus miles would have been no issue, but I think the challenge for us was how do we get these miles even though we're not with our kids all the time? And then that's kind of like a tribute to this is what we would be doing.
We were canoeing and portaging a lot, and there was a 3-person canoe and a 2-person canoe, and we raced one time.
Voyagers has a really strong water presence with our youth, so it was all something we'd be able to practice and something we all love to and grew to love.
We did.
Woo-woo! 10 miles!
The Adventure Challengers event plus the pandemic has made it so that we, at least personally, have been so much more intentional with how do I seek adventure, and yeah, like with this kind of tangible goal to work towards. It's been really exciting and fun. It's for the kids, it's totally also a competition and we want to win.
Don't you just love Team Voyagers? How can you not be inspired? Well, that's almost it, folks. It all comes down to these last 60 seconds. But before we determine the winner of the 2020 Adventure Challenger of the Year, we have one more message, a special video produced by our remarkably talented event chair, Patrick Burke. Before watching, let's check the current standings of our competitors. Courtney, will you share a final update in the chat box? Don't wait. This is your final chance. Just 60 seconds left to place your final bids on auction items and cast your vote. When we come back from Pat's video, it'll be time for the big reveal. Who will be the 2020 Adventure Challenger of the Year? Let's watch.
The day was awesome.
This is Chicago Voyagers, guiding youth on their journey. A journey which starts at a trailhead and ends with empowerment.
Even when you think there's not a way, there's always a way.
A journey from a canoe launch to discovering the best in themselves.
I learned about myself that I'm a caring person.
And each other.
I'm able to notice the skills and talents in other people more because of this trip.
A journey from the base of a mountain to a summit of self-confidence and potential.
Here I can be somebody that is sort of different from who I perceive myself.
You can do it just as long as you believe in yourself and you work together as a team.
It was a lot of responsibility to lead the whole crew here, and I had to stay focused.
I got to overcome fears, and I did new things that I thought I wouldn't do.
With your help, Chicago Voyagers can continue guiding Chicago area at-risk youth on this journey.
It's actually pretty fun. I learned how to build a campfire, how to make s'mores.
Along the way, they'll challenge themselves, here in the outdoors. They'll see things they've never seen and accomplish things they never thought they could.
People had a faith in me that I could take them to their destination.
I feel more responsible.
They'll discover leadership skills, self-confidence, and a belief in their potential.
And that's going to change us. It's already changed us, this program.
And they'll carry these discoveries back to their neighborhoods and schools.
I kind of see things from a new perspective.
Help us take the next step in this journey by pledging your support for Chicago Voyagers now.
Is helping young men and women become better men and women.
Each of us are a different kind of person, and we all hang out with a different kind of crowd. This connects us right here.
Well, it is time, folks, that time that we've been waiting for, where we find out who we will be crowning with the 2020 Adventure Challenger of the Year. If you haven't joined me yet on screen, Adventure Challengers, please turn on those cameras and unmute yourselves, and let's finish this with a bang. What an incredible evening. Holy cow. Yes, Dan Coyne, I feel your enthusiasm. Watching the uptick in our goal bar throughout the night, I am incredibly grateful and inspired by the generosity of all of our friends at Chicago Voyagers. Thank you to all of you for making tonight possible. Before we get to our announcement, because I know it's going to take just a moment to tally the final votes, and we want to make sure that we get this done right. There are some people that I really do want to take an extra moment to highlight and thank, because really a night like tonight is not possible without a team effort, and there are some fantastic members on that team that I want to highlight. First, to our sponsors, especially our major sponsors, Jennifer and Jim Castenholtz, Bernie Roop. Your generosity is bar none, incredibly inspiring. Indigo and Consumers Credit Union, you are truly partners to Chicago Voyagers from the very start. So grateful for your friendship and support. IMC, really overwhelmed. Mindful Money, American Hospital Association, Global Macro, and all of our sponsors and donors, truly, truly from the bottom of our hearts, thank you on behalf of our youth and their families. We couldn't do this without you. And thank you to our incredible event committee. Let me blow through all of you guys as quickly as possible. Lisa, George, Chris, Herman, Mary, Sarah, Danny, Danilo, Bob, David, and especially huge thanks to Lauren Kettleson. Lauren is our auction extraordinaire. Courtney Sturgeon, who produced all of those great action videos of our Adventure Challengers, and Patrick Burke, the chair of this event, the creative genius behind all of this. That last video that you saw was Patrick's incredible work, and he just was the glue that kept all the pieces together. Thank you to all of you. It's been so wonderful partnering and working with you. I can't imagine having a better team in this adventure. All right, Bernie, do we have some results to share?
We need just a couple minutes.
Just a couple more minutes. All right, well, while we're waiting for those results to come in, and again, we want to make sure that we get it all right. I know that one of the things we're waiting is for that auction to close. Hopefully you're now, those of you who have been bidding on items are getting notifications that you've won. Wow, thank you. In the end, the winners, of course, are our youth. But we know that you'll enjoy those great items that you've purchased. Another huge shout out to all of the auction item donors. I know many of you are with us tonight. You've provided some really unique and extraordinary experiences and items. So thank you for sharing that with us. Let's talk for a moment while we're getting those final results in about those adventures. So hey, Siddiqui, you want to unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about, I know you were training. It wasn't, I mean, I was going to say just the 25 miles that you ran, as if just before the, number 25 and running is even appropriate. But I know that you were doing tons of other training to prepare for that 25-mile run. How did that go? What was that experience like?
Oh, it was just wonderful. I mean, I usually have like a good community of friends that I bike with and run with. So it's just normally a part of what I do. And yeah, it was just, it's just a normal week and normal weekend for me, but it felt a little more inspired, by doing this for a great cause.
Well, we're certainly inspired by your persistence and your will and your drive and your amazing generosity and doing this for our kids. Thank you. Bess, what about you? I know that you were paddling your little heart away in all kinds of wonderful places. What was your favorite paddle?
Oh, I really enjoyed, I paddled on the Buffalo River, and it's in Buffalo River National Park in Arkansas, which is my home state. I got it on my arm, so if ever I get lost. But being there, just being back and having the water be flowing at the time that we were there. So it was really fun. I went out with some family and friends, and we had an awesome time. It was, I even had to do a rescue, and Bernie would have been really proud of me. So it was
fantastic. Well, you were trained by the best, Bess, so
yeah.
I have no doubt. How about Team Smaroff and the South Loop community? How was your adventure experience?
Thanks, Jory. It was a lot of fun. So we actually have the total here, right? So our goal is a lot, 5,000 miles. We had 5,243 miles as of noon today. So we had 25 families that participated. It was just a lot of fun. We had a little Facebook chat, just kind of telling everybody what we were doing, what the winds looked like. And so if you were going biking, what that might be. So it was great. I really want to thank all those families and that participated. They were what drove the success and the fun of it, to be honest with you. So
yes, okay. I have goosebumps. Literally, I wish if you could see my arm, you could see they're legit goosebumps. I mean, what you all did and the fact that you brought in your whole community there is phenomenal. Yes, thank you to all the families that participated. What an extraordinary effort and amazing results that you all achieved working together. All right, Dan, tell us about your sunrises, man. You get up way too early.
Well, I think everybody else kind of doesn't get up in time. So, but I want to say that probably out of all the different sunrises and sunsets that I was able to experience and listen to, one really stood out. And that is, there was a lightning storm, maybe 20 miles on the horizon, coming across the lake as I'm watching the sunset. And for me, that just reminded me that as storms happen in our lives, our kids' lives, of course, and in our world's lives, it's important for us to sit still, to remember we are loved and we are cared for. And for me to be able to be a volunteer with Chicago Voyagers, an organization that loves so many that are amidst of this storm, to me makes me feel confident that there's hope for our future. So that's it. That's it.
What a beautiful story and really spot on analogy, because I think we all know that storms come and they go, and they're a whole lot easier when you've got people on your side supporting you through it. Thank you, Dan. Well, Bernie, I think that I may have received the message that the results are in. Are you ready to share them with us?
We're ready to share. The votes and totals are counted. I really want to thank all of our adventure challengers for your participation. Together, you raised $17,818, really tremendous. And I'd like to acknowledge each team and their votes before I announce the winner. Bess's goal on behalf of Neighborhood Boys and Girls Club was to paddle 50 miles. And Bess got 42 votes. Thank you and congratulations, Team NBGC.
Oh, thanks so much. I had a blast. It was great. It's a great organization, both Neighborhood Boys and Girls Club and Chicago Voyagers. I loved getting those 50 miles in Tennessee, Arkansas, Indiana, and Illinois. So I had a blast doing it, and it's such an honor just to be able to do something this cool.
Way to go, Bess.
Thank you all.
Team McCullough's goal was to run 50 miles across the same Chicago street. Siddiqui got 48 votes. Thank you and congratulations, Siddiqui.
Hey, good evening, everyone, and enjoy Bernie, the entire Chicago Voyagers team, and all my many supporters. I'd like to say just thank you. Wonderful opportunity to inspire the kids, and an opportunity for me to feel inspired by what you all do. So I'm honored to be a partner with you all, and I look forward to future challenges and volunteering and getting outdoors with some of the kids in the future. So thank you.
All right. Team Coin's goal was 25 sunrises and sunsets from a lake. Dan and team got 71 votes. Thank you and congratulations, Dan.
Well, thank you. And I just want to thank everyone that helps to make our world a better place. Our kids that we work with will be leaders. It's just a question of what kind and what type of leaders. And I'm just so blessed to be a part of this team to help these youth become the leaders we need for our future. Thank you, Bernie.
Yeah. We had just one vote that separated our last two groups. Team South Loop's goal was to walk, run, and bike 5,000 miles. The team led by the Smaroffs got 90 votes. Thank you and congratulations, Team South Loop.
Thank you, Bernie. Thanks all. Just want to say thank you to our team, our organization here at Chicago Voyagers. What a great event you guys have put on, and enjoyed doing this challenge with all the challengers. So thank you for supporting our youth, and look forward to doing this in person next year.
Absolutely. Now the moment we've been waiting for. As I said, by just one vote. Team Chicago Voyagers' goal was to paddle 1,000 miles at boating. Ryan, Amos, Nancy, Marlene got 91 votes, raising $4,800. Thank you and congratulations, Team Voyagers.
Wow, thank you so much, everyone. So honored to take on this challenge and to win it as well. That speaks so much to the people who support us. Team Voyagers actually is at around 700 miles right now, but we plan to finish this upcoming month or two.
Thank you, everybody. This really felt like more of a collaboration than a competition, honestly, and it feels like we won on behalf of the youth and behalf of the organization. And it's really been a blast. So thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. This was so fun, the adventure and feeling all of your support from all over the place. And it was worth the tendinitis that I got in my wrist. Thanks, everyone.
Yes, thank you so much for your support. It was great to be able to paddle together and to build our skills and to prepare to finally get out there with our youth and do what we love to do. So thank you very much for your support.
All right, congrats again. We'll get you your award soon. There's just one final number I'd like to report, and that's our total amount raised for this event. And I'm really proud to say we have raised $66,162, which is so close to our goal. And there's still time to help us get there by donating to our funded adventure. There's a link that we're just adding to the chat, and really consider helping us reach our goal. As executive director, I want to thank you all for your generosity on behalf of Chicago Voyagers, our board, our team, all of our partners, and the youth we work with. By hitting this goal, we were able to continue to provide programming to kids like Setlali and George and all the other youth that we work with. We hope you enjoyed this virtual event and hope to see you back live soon in the future. Thank you and have a good night.